You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now on the Mo Kelly Show, it's Tiffany Hobbs, the viral load.
She'll speak of all the viral things social media can bring.
Facebook, Insta, X, TikTok, the viral load with Tiffany Hobbs. Viral load, viral load, the viral load.
Viral load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI AM 640 is Later with Mo Kelly on YouTube and the iHeartRadio app. Let's get to the viral load with the Tiffany Hobbs.
Okay, the idea of a hack or a dupe is in the news. A lot of people are in conversation about these dupes, these hacks, especially when you think about what's going on with the conversation around counterfeit bags and luxury items from China versus being manufactured in other places. But that's a different conversation. We're not talking about a Birkin or a Gucci. We're talking about fish in this first story. And the fish in question is Costco's miso black cod. It sounds funny. It sounds like a song. Miso black cod. It's gone viral. And not just because it tastes good, but because a lot of people are saying that the miso black cod from Costco is absolutely comparable and maybe even better than Nobu's own miso cod. So on Reddit, a lot of these shoppers from Costco are talking about their experiences with this or that. And when it comes to this particular fish, lots of comments are coming in with people saying that the fish is practically identical. Some people are saying they enjoy having sushi night at home and that this particular cod reminds them of the cod they buy at the very expensive Nobu Japanese restaurant. One shopper was so impressed with the black cod from Costco that she says she plans to serve it at her upcoming wedding. Now, here's the price differential. Costco's miso cod family size box, which has 5 individually wrapped pieces, costs approximately $23. Okay, so 5 pieces of cod, decent deal. If you go to Nobu and you order the miso cod plate, you're looking at $46 on average, depending on location. In Los Angeles, it's $46. In other places, it might be $2 more or less, depending on where you're at. But either way, this fish has gone completely viral. So if you expect to go out to Costco to find this miso black cod, good luck, because of course, when things go viral, they're very in demand and you're less likely to find them. All right. Did you want to weigh in on that at all?
No, I want to let that one go. Look, I was going to say something after miso black cod, and I was thinking about the two live crew, and I said, let me just leave that alone.
That's why it definitely sounds like a song, and I just tried to breeze over it.
Miso black cod. Miso black cod. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Me eat you long time.
Okay.
Cod. I'm talking about the cod.
Well, you won't be able to. There's not going to be available in the stores. So moving along from Costco to Coachella, right? Here we go. Some alliteration. There's an influencer. Her name is Adelaine Morin, and she has sparked a lot of backlash, not simply by buying an overpriced ticket to the festival or because of what she wore. No, it's for the fact that she has shared with her millions of followers. She has 1.1 million followers. What she's eating at Coachella. And there's some audio to this. Go for it, Steph.
Would you ever spend $1,000 for dinner at Coachella? I think I found the most expensive place to have dinner in the festival, and it's none other than Nobu. There were absolutely no walk-ins. It was reservations only. I'm so dumb. I accidentally booked my reservation for weekend 2, but we were able to work it out on the back end because you have to pay it in full and there's no refunds. It's an omakase menu, so you don't get to pick what you get. The chef picks for you, and it's $350 per person plus 22% included gratuity. Also, if you show up late, they'll give you a bento box to go and you can't even eat it here. But I think the that this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience because you can have a Michelin-starred dinner. And just across from you is the Kasar stage where there's so many artists playing. And if you timed your reservation right, you can literally be eating Nobu while Tiesto was playing. You guys know me. I'll cheap out on certain things and ball out on others. And this I don't regret a bit because it was such a fun experience, and you can watch them make the sushi right in front of you. Sometimes getting omakase is scary because you don't know if you're going to like the food, but everything that they prepared was so amazing. I did a little taste test vlog as well. And my favorite, the rock shrimp tempura. This gave us enough energy for the day that we were just frolicking around Coachella. Would you ball out?
So, as you can hear, Adeline details what she ate. And people don't really care as much about what she ate as they do how much she spent. So just to reiterate, it's $1,000. That's the title or the byline of the story, but that's over for two people. It's about $500 per person. There's a pop-up Nobu. So we're talking about Nobu dupes at Costco. This is the actual Nobu restaurant popping up at Coachella just for the festival. And if you want to enjoy this experience, you make a reservation for one of the weekends. There are no refunds, and it's chef's choice. That's what she was saying. It's chef's choice. And when you get in there, it's $350 flat rate, no matter what you get, plus an additional 22% included gratuity on top of that. And drinks and everything else are extra. So, and if you miss it, oh well, no refunds. And you only get 55 or 50 minutes to enjoy your meal. They want people to be in and out. But she shared about it. Her millions of followers were enjoying the commentary, but she's getting a lot of backlash because people already have pretty divided opinions on Coachella and whether or not it's catering to the most affluent of the culture, I guess, of people who are attending.
Yeah.
And this doesn't help that argument at all. So,
$500 per person.
$500 per person. Two people spent about $945, including one Red Bull, 2 waters, and 1 bottle of sake.
I have never in my life spent $500 for a singular person's meal. Not me, not my wife, not anyone dated.
In good conscience, I can't. It's all coming out no matter what you spend. It's all coming out one way.
I couldn't do that even buying bottles of liquor. I mean,
no.
$500 is a lot of money for a single meal.
And it's really just to flex, as they say, just to brag and have something to show for your experience at this festival.
And that's why your ass is broke 2 months later.
When we come back, we're going to talk about a TikTok beauty craze that involves rubber bands and a facelift, but it's not what you think.
It's later with Mo Kelly, part 2 of the Viral Load, coming right up on KFI AM 640 and YouTube.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now it's time for the Viral Load with Tiffany. Live on KFI's Later with Mo Kelly. She'll talk about the top hits on social media. The Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI, YouTube, live everywhere. Let's get back to part 2 of the Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs.
Mo, I have a quick question for you.
I have a quick answer.
Do you have any beauty routines? You have wonderful skin. You know, we look at it whenever we're here. They see you now on YouTube with your very smooth, wrinkleless palette there.
I drink a lot of water.
Okay.
I'm going to be very honest. There's a facial soap that I use that is actually my wife's that's in the shower.
Look at you. Hygiene.
But see, there's the thing about getting older. Hair starts growing where you don't want it, and you lose it where you do want it. And when you're a man, hair will start growing out over your face and your ear and that kind of stuff. And so there's a whole thing I have to do with that.
Okay.
So to answer your question, yes, there's stuff I got to do so I look presentable.
Okay, well, I have something new to add to your routine.
Is this going to be like that snail stuff you put on your face?
No, you remember the
snail semen?
Snail semen. It's not semen. They don't excrete. It's excretion. But we're not talking about that. But wow.
No, I remember.
Good. I still owe you a bottle of that.
No, you don't owe me a damn thing. No.
Oh,
no.
Okay. I'll bring that in next week. This is not snail mucus. This involves giving yourself an instant facelift. As we age, things start to happen with gravity, just like you said, with hair. You might find parts of your face starting to go south in ways that you don't want, right? And we all like the kind of tighter, taut look. Maybe not too taut, right? But in this case, this particular trend has originated in South Korea, and it went viral because a New York City dermatologist by the name of Dr. David Kim posted his own TikTok video calling this the biggest beauty hack in Korea right now. And what is the hack? The hack involves looping rubber bands, regular rubber bands, tightly around each of your ears for 10 to 30 minutes.
How, like pull them behind your head?
You're basically putting the rubber band over your ear multiple times so that it's tight.
Oh, so it starts
you're
pulling at your
doubling.
face?
So it's starting to pull at your face, pull at your ears. Your ears will get red, of course. And devotees claim that this trick drains facial puffiness, lifts cheekbones, and sculpts jawlines, all without needles, fillers, or knives.
Now, I'll use egg whites for like bags under my eyes, but that's about it.
Sure. Spoons, even in the freezer.
Cold compress,
That's fine. This trend, while popular and absolutely viral, is gaining traction, and people are saying, especially the experts, are saying now that after 6.2 million views of this doctor's video, that this method is not going to do anything long lasting. Number one, you might get a quick lift or some sort of stretchy feeling to your skin or taut feeling, but it will go away, and it can do actual harm. It can restrict blood flow, cause discomfort, obviously, and can potentially lead to skin irritation or damage, particularly to the delicate skin around your ears. So this video viral because of this doctor, this dermatologist, who is just adding to how inappropriate and irresponsible sharing content like this can be. And a lot of people are jumping on board. Do not be that person. Oh, all right. Last story involves something that I imagine many of us have been through. Whether you like your job or you don't, or you have a history of going from employer to employer, at some point you've probably experienced some sort of frustration, aggravation, burnout, conflict between yourself and an employer, a colleague. It's natural, right? Every workplace isn't going to be completely peaceful. Well, people.
I hate working with Mark. I mean, for example,
I know you do, and you manage it very well.
It's difficult sometimes.
It's difficult for me too.
Can I translate? What you mean is that you love that, and you can't stop thinking about me.
Yes means no. No means yes.
If I say yes, what's that mean?
If you say yes,
never mind. Keep going.
Go on. Well, in this case, let's say Mark was really, really getting on your nerves.
Hypothetically, of course.
Hypothetically,
Science
of course.
fiction, total.
And let's say you wanted to get back at Mark in the workplace.
I'm listening.
On Reddit, which is its own platform, what's going viral are employees who are sharing the ways in which they've gotten payback or revenge against their coworkers, colleagues, employers. Here are some examples of some of the revenge tactics. One person said they applied for every weird job they could find and used their boss's email and work phone as the contact. So whenever that job wanted to reach out, they contacted the boss.
Can I make an admission real quick? I would sign up for just about every mail list possible so an ex would get spammed using her email.
Statute of limitations. I think you're okay.
Oh, it's nothing illegal. I'm just getting it off my chest. It's something I did many
It's not illegal
years
now.
ago.
So we're talking about ways to prank people you work with.
Yes.
I used to, my very first newspaper, I sat next to my editor, who I couldn't stand. I would walk down to the loading dock, pick up the phone in the loading dock, call him, and pretend I was an angry subscriber. and I'd be like, what the hell do I have to do to get my paper put on my damn porch? And he'd be like, well, sorry, sir, let me transfer you to circulation. I'm like, I don't want to be transferred to circulation. I did this to him like every couple of weeks, and he never caught on it was me.
Another employee.
How many years ago was this roughly?
It's quite a while back.
You don't want to be more specific?
Well, the statute of limitations is probably gone, and he's not at that paper anymore. But there are ways to exact revenge upon people who make your life miserable.
Let me give you a couple more so you can add them to your repertoire, Mark. Okay, just in case you may hypothetically want to get back against an employee or a colleague who might be getting on your nerves. Here's another one. This person took a wireless mouse and it was an extra mouse, and plugged it into their coworker's computer or laptop, and then hid the cursor in some way so that whenever the person went to manipulate the mouse, they couldn't find the cursor on the screen. And the employee just watched their colleague in agony and frustration as they tried to figure that out. Another person said, whenever I would hear my colleague talking about a vacation, I would find out what days they were taking off and immediately put in a request for the same days so that that other employee would be more likely to get denied. And lastly, and this one's my favorite, one person said that she had a coworker or a boss, doesn't specify, who kept a box of cereal on their desk. And every day at this time, this employee, the vindictive one, would get there early and crunch up the flakes inside of the cereal and put the bag back in the box just so that they could watch their coworker pour out dust.
Yeah, I know there's some people here in our kitchen who are intentionally crushing up the potato chips in there.
Really?
Yeah, because there's some, every once in a while, I'll try to get a bag of potato chips and I can tell they're basically dust.
That's sick. Who would do that?
I don't know. I just know that it's being done. Just like I know people are stealing other people's stuff out of the refrigerator.
Yeah. I've seen Mark in the kitchen area a lot more lately.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it is Mark. I'm just saying that it's not. I can't say that it's not Mark.
I have an alibi. An ironclad alibi. I love workplace pranks, though. I'm just going to say this before we go to the break. I once recorded a friend of mine snoring at the newspaper. We had to share a hotel room because we went to a film convention.
Wait a minute. You did that to Stefan at the movies.
Well, this was
That's
better.
what the story was going to be.
This was better. I got in touch with somebody who knew how to play it over the building's PA system and then sat back and watched as the dawning realization came over his face that he was hearing himself snore over the entire building's loudspeakers.
Diabolical.
But I like it. I like it, though. I like diabolical, stuff. So
that concludes tonight's Diabolical Viral Load.
When we come back, we have a little more regarding social media and TikTok. We're going to tell you about the TikTok trend, which has helped bring a business back almost from the dead.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're still live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and YouTube. Sign up and subscribe right now at Mr. Mo Kelly, MrMokelly. Sometimes people say, I can't find the live stream. We'll see if you sign up. It'll just pop up in the feed. The live feed will pop up right in front of you. You won't have to worry about it. It'll be easy to find. You can hang out in the chat. We have polls going up just about every segment because we want to hear from you. It's interactive. But that's about social media, how it's changed the way that we interrelate with each other. For as much as I may not like what social media may do, it still impacts all of our lives, whether we're aware of it or not. We've often talked about TikTok. We've talked about TikTok trends, usually how they're negative, usually how they're dangerous. Let me tell you about a different TikTok trend, which should blow your mind because it blew my mind when I saw this. And Tiffany Hobbs of the Viral Load is staying with us. And you may listen to Tiffany on Saturdays from 5 to 7 p.m. here on KFI. So if I'm going to talk about a social media story, if it's not going to be Marsha Collier, it better be Tiffany Hobbs. So Tiffany, if I told you that because of a TikTok trend, Barnes and Noble booksellers are now opening some 60 new stores, would you believe me?
I would. Absolutely. The power of social media influence is vast at either end of the spectrum. And I am happy about this because I love Barnes and Noble.
This completely blew me away because there's this hashtag book talk, and it's a subgenre where TikTok users recommend books. The hashtag has over 52.9 million posts and has been the guiding force into this, I would say, rediscovery of books and bookstores, actual physical brick and mortar booksellers. Not just love of books. You can get a book off Amazon, and that's part of the reason why Barnes & Noble basically went out of business, because of Amazon. But this is what Barnes & Noble, James Daunt, had to say. Quote, "We are delighted to return to Brentwood with such a beautiful new Barnes & Noble. It's been worth the wait to find this fantastic space, just a 5-minute drive from our previous location. We are very grateful to our team of booksellers for all their patience and hard work during the building out of the store. They have done a wonderful job, and I know that they will be thrilled to welcome back their customers." Barnes & Noble said they opened more bookstores in 2024 than it had during the whole decade from 2009 to 2019. Incredible.
And, the thing about it too, Mo, is it feels like the more we cleave to technology, the more technology takes hold at every aspect, or in every aspect of our lives, the more people start to push back. And there is that underlying current, or this subgenre of people who want something that is a bit more antiquated. You have record sales, actual physical vinyl record sales going up. You have people looking for cassettes, and there's novelty and nostalgia, of course, but there's also a want to have less complicated stuff at your disposal.
What is it about a Barnes and Noble as opposed to, let's say, an independent bookseller or a coffee shop where people go and find something to read and sit down? What is it about Barnes and Noble, from your experience, which separates it? Because it's not B. Dalton, it's not Crown Books, it's Barnes and Noble.
I think the space, and you hear that the president of Barnes and Noble, their CEO, talking about the space and how important it is. Barnes and Noble often uses a 3-story model.
Yep.
So you have these really high ceilings. You have kind of a circular pattern to it, or blueprint. And it just feels never ending. It feels like you can get lost in there, and you're not closed in, so you don't get claustrophobic. They used to have balconies, which they still have, but they have closed a lot of them down. I'm hoping that we return to the balcony usage again too, so you could read outside. But there's the cafe inside. There's plenty of seating. And again, that open, airy feeling just helps. It feels good.
I don't know if this is a trend or a change. And what I mean by that is trends, they don't last forever. And with trends, people move on. I don't know if we're talking in 2 years about the store closures of all these bookstores, because we know when there is such great expansion so fast, oftentimes it's too fast. There are any number of examples, from Starbucks to Boston Market to even Krispy Kreme. I know it's different industries, but there's an explosion of all these, and then all of a sudden they have to contract. I say that because a dozen Barnes & Noble stores have already opened since the beginning of the year. It's still just April. We're still we're barely in the second quarter of this year. This is something which is happening very fast. And since it's only happening with Barnes & Noble, I wonder whether this TikTok trend is going to be a cautionary tale going forward. If only because it's not industry wide, it's a brand specific thing.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah. I don't know what to say, but I am very surprised, for as much as the negative stuff I talk about social media and TikTok and how these trends are going to be the death of our society. Got to give credit where credit is due. It is all directly attributable to TikTok.
I wonder if this will translate to newspapers becoming less digital. I would love that. And magazines.
That's a heavy lift.
Yeah, I think newspapers are dead and they just don't know it yet.
Oh.
No, I think they know. I think they are on their deathbed and they're saying their final goodbyes.
There's an old Robert Bloch, I think, short story that was made into a Twilight Zone episode about an uncle who was dead, but he didn't know it, so he wouldn't lie down in his grave. And to make him understand what he had to do, somebody slips him a black napkin at the dinner table. And he looks at it and he stands up quietly and walks into his grave. And they realize at the end, oh, he saw the white maggot on the black napkin. Somebody needs to slip the LA Times a black napkin.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is oddly specific.
Yeah. Oh, it's
but
sad.
not inaccurate.
I love newspapers, and as you know, I mean, that's where I came from. It's too bad.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. I mean, there is something to be said for contributing to your own demise.
That's kind of a larger discussion, and I don't disagree with it, but it's a shame because the fewer newspapers you have, the fewer information everybody has. They do more legwork than radio and TV put together.
Let me make a distinction. There's newspapers and there are news outlets. And I don't believe that the LA Times, since we name checked them, I don't think the physical newspaper aspect of that business needs to continue. The news aspect of the outlet is more important. And I don't think we need to hold on to that particular paper medium.
Yeah, but you can't overstate how clueless and out of touch a lot of the people who run newspapers are. I mean, years and years ago, when I left the Seattle Times, one of the last things I said to the person who owned it was ditch the newspaper thing, call it a news site, whatever. But, you know, they might as well have been listening to Charlie Brown's Teacher. They don't care. They don't know. Yeah.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
For my final thought tonight, I previewed it in my tease, and I said, well, I wanted to talk about the Stop Oligarchy rallies, and I think that's what they're called. And I'm not saying this for effect, and it's weird when I ever mention anything politics, I'll get these messages from you, and y'all are crazy. You want to talk about stuff that had nothing to do with whatever I said. You want me to argue with you about stuff I didn't say or things you imagine. You must be drunk, high, or just not really paying attention. Whatever it is. But it's just weird what you think you hear versus what I actually say. But I get really bothered, to get to the point, by the coverage of these Stop Oligarchy rallies. And I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but you know the ones I'm talking about, the ones with Senator Bernie Sanders and AOC, Congresswoman AOC. I think they're called that. I was doing a hit on Spectrum News on Monday, and I was asked what I thought about them. And I didn't know. They said right before I sat in the chair, say, hey, we also want to get your thoughts on this. So I didn't have a lot of time to prepare anything. I was just coming off the top of my head. But I do really appreciate Spectrum News hits because I get to talk about some stuff that I don't normally on this show. But here's what I think about the Stop Oligarchy rallies. That's what I'll call them. There is what they actually are, and there is what they aren't. And I know that Democrats largely want to use these rallies, these protests, the sea of people, as some sort of evidence that the Democrats are on the verge of turning things around. And I am here to tell you, no, they're not. Others will argue that it shows that the rallies are at the start of this gigantic blue wave in 2026. No, they're not. The midterms are more than a year and a half away. Nothing happening today will be impactful 18 months from now. Nothing. Not the tariffs, not Doge firings, and definitely not any of these protests or rallies. Think of it like the stock market. Whatever the stock market numbers are like right now won't matter in 18 months. We'll have a completely different picture. We'll be in a completely different economic state. The rallies, other than making the disaffected feel better momentarily at that, they're not impactful at all. Not short term or long term. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I like to tell the truth. They don't matter. That's what they're not. Here's what they are. They actually are. They are great fundraising tools for AOC, for Bernie Sanders, and the Democratic Party. They're great in the formulation of future outreach because, you know, when you get information on these rallies, know when to show up and where to go, you're getting your name, your address. It's going to be used later for mass focus group marketing. Seeing what messages resonate better than others. And it's also great for AOC individually. She's doing great fundraising. She's probably one of the largest fundraisers in the Democratic Party right now. And it's no secret that she, like her or not, is raising her national profile. She may be a candidate for New York governor. Don't know. She may be a candidate for senator because her name has been bandied about to challenge Chuck Schumer, Who knows? She could be a Democratic Party congressional leader, as in future Speaker of the House, if she stays in the House long term. All these things have been theorized, and there are arguments to make for all of them. But here's the really difficult truth. This is about then, not about now. And everything that AOC wants to do requires a national profile. That helps her down the road. All these rallies help that. That helps her. It doesn't help you, not as a voter. It doesn't really even help the party outside of grassroots strategies. It's not going to tip any balance. It's not going to win any elections because there are no elections on the immediate horizon, but they are a balm for butthurt Democrats. And sometimes eating a gallon of ice cream is the best you can do to make the hurt go away. And I would liken these rallies, these protests, to the gallon of ice cream for a party wallowing in their sorrows. Bernie Sanders is not a potential candidate for president in 2028, and neither is AOC. These rallies have been more performative than they've been transformative. Bernie Sanders at Coachella, what are we talking about? That does not matter. There's no Coachella voting block, and California is not in danger of going red in a presidential election. See what I mean? That's more ice cream. Make you feel better. The point of this is that we shouldn't confuse something impressive with something impactful. The rally crowds are no doubt impressive. You get 36,000 people out. That's impressive, but it's not impactful. Nothing happening in mid-2025 is going to tell us what's going to happen in late 2026. So Democrats, this is what I say to you. Eat your ice cream, sit on the couch, get sloppy, obese, fat, fart, do whatever you want. Nobody's listening. As for when 2026 rolls around, some of this might matter. That's next year, but not now. Not the anti-Trump protests, not the anti-oligarchy rallies, none of it. Your job is to show up in big numbers when it matters most. You know, like in November of 2024, when you didn't. That would have been election day and not some day in April when it doesn't matter at all. And here's the thing. Here's the takeaway. Message, as they say. If the Democrats could, among other things, figure out the difference between showing up for a rally and showing up on election day, we wouldn't be having this conversation. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
Mood-enhancing, pharmacy-grade, stimulating talk.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.